My name is Edison. In the previous lecture, we looked at the list data type of Python, and we said the list is like a container which stores items or elements in a sequential order, and these items are separated by commas and the items are in square brackets. We also looked at how the append method of the list data type is used. In today's lecture, we are going to look at how the insert, the extend, and the pop methods of the list data type are being used. In the insert method, you have the possibility to add an element like X to the list using the index position, or you have the possibility to add an element X at a particular index position on your list. In the extend methods, it gives you the possibility to add several items or several elements at once to your list. Let's look at an example. Let's say that you work in an institution, and last year there were about 12,000 students admitted. This year, maybe 5,000 other students have been admitted, and you just need to add these 5 students to your database. You can use the extend method to add these 5,000 students to your previous 12,000 students at the same time at once to your list. With the pop method, you have the possibility to actually take out an element from the list using just its index position. Let's say in an institution, each student has a student number, and probably the students have been graded. Students in a specific course have been graded, and maybe the grade of one of the students is wrong, and you need to take that off. What you can do is that you can use just the student number, which will now represent the index of that grade, and take out the mark or the grade. So that is how you can use these methods. I'm sure that we can have a better appreciation of these concepts practically. So I'm going to go to my Jupyter notebook and show you how these methods can be used practically. Okay, so let's see how we can use the insert. We can use the insert function in the list data type, and we can continue to use our max example. This max example from this imaginary school which we created. Yeah, so we say these are max. Say these are max, and suppose we want to kind of insert let's comment here. Let's insert the number maybe 10 at index position maybe 1, for instance. Okay, another thing you need to know about indexing is that, or another thing you need to know about the list data type is indexing. I just talked about it briefly here, but this is a very important concept which we are going to cover at some point within the course. But this is what you should know about indexing. It is possible for us to reference each element within the list using indexing, and this is how it works. Indexing begins from number 0. So the first item on the list will be indexed at 0, the second item at 1, the third item at 2, just like that, right up to the last item. We can also do indexing starting from the last item on the list. In this case, 10 will become -1, 9 will be -2, so 18 will be -3, and just like that right up to the first item. So that's what you should note. Now we are trying to insert the number 10 at index position 1. So this is how this works. Okay, we say the variable, and we insert, we say at position 1, and what number are we inserting? We said 10. Now if you run this program, you will see that 10 has now been added to the list, and it's at what position? It's at index number 1. Remember I told you that indexing begins from 0, so 13 was 0, 17 was 1. But now we are going to we've inserted the number 10 at index position 1 on the list. So this is what we get in the on the output. You can see that 10 has now been added to the list at an index position 1. Let's try another example. Let's say we want to add, or we want to insert stuff. My computer is getting old, I need to replace it. We want to insert maybe at index position 5, and we want to insert the number 17 to the list. If you run this program, you see that 17 has now been added. This is 17. It has now been added. It has now been added to the index position 5. Let's try this, guys. Let's try to insert a string to the list. Let's say we want to insert it at index position, maybe let's say 6, and what string do we want to insert? Let's say we insert just some name. Let's insert Jessica. Good. Let's see what happens. Well, now it works, you see. So we've now added the name Jessica to our list. So that's how we use the insert function in the list data type in Python. We can implement or how we can use the extend function in the list data type. Okay, let's go back to our Mac example, and our Mac example, or our Mac's example. Now let's say we want to add let's say let's add let's add like five different Macs to our list. So how do we do this? We can use the extend function, just as we've discussed. We use extend, and what are the Macs that we want to add? Maybe we want to add 23. No, I think all the Macs should be less than or equal 20. So let's say we have 14, 17, 18, 12, and 15. Okay, so let's add this let's add these Macs to our current list. So how do we do this? So if you now run this program, you'll see that you have a new list with the different Macs that we had, which have now been added to the list. So that's how you can do this. Yeah, so that's how you can use the extend function in the list. Let's continue with our practicals. In this case, we are trying to see how the pop function works with the list data type. So what happens here is that pop removes a particular item from the list at a particular location. So how do we do this? Let's say let's take off the item 9, for instance. Let's take off 9, for instance. How do we do this? The variable dot pop, and here we are going to use but the index position of that part of the particular number or the particular item within the list we want to take off. So in this case, where is 9 found? So 13 is 0, 17 is 1, and 9 is 2. So let's include 2. And if we run this program, what do we get? We can now see that 9 is no longer a list. The 9 at index position number 2 is no longer on the list because it's been popped off. Let's try another example. Let's try to take the last item. We say pop. Let me comment here so that whoever is seeing this knows what we are doing. Let's take off the last item. Let's take off the last item. What is it? 10. Okay, now so this is what we do. Say the variable pop, and I told you earlier that you can do indexing starting from the last item. In this case, you will be following the negative value. So 10 will be -1 and 9 will be -2, and so on. So let's see what index position are we popping from -1. Let's see what happens. So let's pop that. What happens if we run this? What happens? You see that 10 is no longer on the list. So that's the main use of pop, and this can be very handy at some point when you're navigating through your data science project. Starting your data science career with the Jacob Tech Institute. Please, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also like and share our videos. For more information, you can go to www.jacobtechinstitute.fi. Thank you.